evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Ask Leah, the show where I answer your communication and soft skill questions. Feel free, if you have a question tonight, to pop it in the comments and I will do my best to answer it live. Or if you have a question you'd like me to answer next week, feel free to private message me and I will do my best to answer it then. Hello, Penny. Thank you for joining. For those who believe in Valentine's Day and celebrate all that is love today, I hope you are having a wonderful night. Obviously, the fact I'm here doing Ask Leah at 8 o'clock probably shows you how much my husband and I care about Valentine's Day, but that doesn't mean we love each other any less. But to those celebrating tonight, enjoy your night. Okay, this week I have a few questions to answer. Also, a couple of people who have contacted me with some issues for some advice, and one of them I'm actually going to throw out to my audience to get your input on. I'm pretty sure I know the way it's going to go, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, so first things first. This week, one of my clients had to have a very difficult conversation with their new manager, and they were quite apprehensive about this conversation. It was one they'd done a lot of preparation work for, and that was a great thing to kick off. You know, they weren't just rushing into this difficult conversation or flying off the handle emotionally. They'd really done their prep work, which was great. However, the morning of the conversation, they contacted me and they said, look, any last words of advice? And I want to just share what those last words of advice were with you tonight, because even when we do all the preparation for a difficult conversation, it can still be really nerve-wracking. So my advice to this woman was to remember that success wasn't getting the outcome that she wanted. Success in this conversation was her being able to walk away at the end of it, knowing that she did the absolute best she could and that she presented her case in the best way. This is really important to understand. We can't control other people. We can only control us. So even though she'd done the prep work to give herself the best chance of getting that outcome that she wanted, she still couldn't guarantee that the conversation would go how she wanted it to. Why? Because we don't know how the other person's going to react. We don't know if they're going to be in a calm, considered place or if they're having a bad morning, and any difficult conversation is going to cause issues, okay? So I said to this woman, remember, you can't control the outcome, you can't control how they respond, but at the end, if you can walk away going, I presented my case the best way I can, then that is success. And I'm pleased to say in the aftermath of that conversation, that is how she did feel. She feels like she presented her case the best way possible, that she has done all she absolutely can, and that's all you can do. That is all you can do. And when you understand that, you are able to let go of the result, even though that still can be difficult at times. Thank you, Penny, for your lovely compliment there. Hi, Cal. Hi, Kaz. Okay, the second question that came in this week, and I did actually have a really in-depth conversation with this person. This person contacted me with a question for Ask Leah, but we ended up actually having a conversation about this one for over an hour. It's a really horrible situation, I'm not going to lie. This person was an unintentional fly on the wall in a situation, and they heard some people talking about them, some people that they are close with that are a big part of their life, and they heard these people talking about them in a really detrimental way. So essentially there were people bagging her out behind her back who didn't know she could hear them, and she heard them. Now, this stuff was a bit more than just some hurtful comments. This was really nasty stuff. It was essentially character assassination. There was a lot of inaccuracies in there, things that were just factually wrong. And this person contacted me for a couple of things. One, they had already dealt with it. So a conversation had been had in the aftermath. So they weren't so much after advice on how to handle it in the moment, because that had been done and a conversation had been had, not by this person, but by their partner had actually had a conversation on her behalf and said, look, those comments that were made were just factually wrong. So that had happened. The advice they were seeking from me was how to deal with the aftermath, how to move on and be okay with themselves when they now knew that some people that were really close to them thought this poorly about them, and they were shattered. They were shattered and really emotionally devastated to find out this news. And look, to be honest, I don't blame them. I'm not going to sugarcoat this and say, oh, you just suck it up, because of course that was devastating to hear. They, were really, really devastated. So how can you respond when this happens? Well, first, let me give you some context. This person has decided that they no longer want anything to do with these people. And you know what? That's fair enough. Even if going forward they are able to forgive them for the comments, they don't want them as part of their life. Absolutely fair call. But how do they get to be okay with themselves moving forward? Here's what I said to them. For starters, it comes down to a personal choice about how she wants to respond here, because they have said really hurtful things. You've already countered and said your piece to correct the facts. Now, here's the thing, whether they believe the corrected facts or not, you've got no control over. But at least, your partner has put forward the case and you've done your best to correct them. This is going to sound harsh, and I said this to her at the time on the phone, but she, to her credit, she absolutely understood it. What other people think of us is none of our business. And what I mean by that is, again, we can't control other people. We can only control us. Okay, and there goes my phone. Hopefully someone answers it. We can only control us. So she, it's devastating that they think poorly of her and were saying this behind her back. But even if they know the facts, you can't control what other people think of you. So what can you control? You can control how you choose to respond. And the first thing I encouraged this woman to do was to reflect on her behavior and to reflect on herself as a person, and to take what these people had said into consideration and really have a hard look at herself and go, is there any truth to what they said? And the answer is no. Okay. When we had that conversation, she said, no, I know I am a good person. I know I have done the right thing in this circumstance. And I know what they're saying is just factually wrong. So we spoke about that. She knows that she is a good person. She knows that they have it wrong. And it's devastating that they think poorly of her, but she can't control that. So she does need to learn and to move forward, get to being okay with that. Now, I've had a similar situation to this happen, not to this extent, thankfully, but where I found out that someone was saying some not so nice things behind my back. And I had a conversation with this person about the issue, and a direct conversation. I wouldn't be a very good communications person if I taught other people how to have difficult conversations and didn't have them myself. So I had a conversation with this person who'd been saying some nasty things about me, and I actually used those words with them. I said, look, actually what you think of me is none of my business, and you are absolutely entitled to your opinion. I obviously very much disagree with your opinion, and I disagree for these reasons, But you're your own person. I can't control your thoughts. And if that's what you think of me, I'm really sad about that, but I can't change your mind. Okay? And then I moved away from that person too, because we do have to make a choice about the people we allow into our lives. Okay? And as devastating as being a fly on the wall and finding this information out can be, and some people will say to me, is it better to know or not to know? There's no right or wrong answer to that. This person is devastated, but she knows. She knows what these other people think of her now, and she can make a conscious decision to say, you know what, I've been trying to maintain a relationship for a really long time, but now that's it. I'm done. I don't want that sort of toxic behavior in my life, and I'm choosing to step away. So we had a big conversation, but that's where we ended up. She is still processing it, still working through it, but she very much is comfortable with who she is. And that's really all you can ask. Okay. The third one tonight is the one that I am going to throw out to the listeners here and viewers. So those of you who are watching, I want you to post your comments in response to this, particularly those of you who have worked in an open planned office, and even more particularly those who have worked in an office where there are hot desks. So if you've had that environment, I'd love you to post in the comments right now with your thoughts on open planned offices and hot desks. This person contacted me because their workplace is moving towards open planned office space and hot desks. For those who don't know what a hot desk is, it's this idea that no one has a set desk and a set seat, so you don't have personal possessions at work, you don't have a fixed location or workstation. There's just an open planned office, everyone's in the space together, there's a whole heap of desks with computers on them and workstations, and you just go wherever you want on any given day. You just turn up wherever you want. Now, I've worked in open planned offices many, many times. To be honest, open planned offices don't bother me so much, as long as there is an office space that you can go in to make private, confidential business-related phone calls. I did, however, find being a communications professional in an open planned office was challenging, because I worked in communications and my seat position was back onto a corridor. The challenge I had was everyone stopped to talk to me, which was lovely. And I was communications. However, when everyone's stopping to talk to you, it is actually hard to get work done. So in some workplaces where I've coached people, and this has been an issue, I actually get them to change their position sometimes. And it's not about being rude. You can still absolutely engage with people, but sometimes just changing your position so you're facing a window or something, so that people do have to come and excuse themselves to talk to you can work. Another technique is noise cancelling headphones if the noise is a problem. But overall, open planned offices, can work really well. The hot desk thing is another issue. Now, I've worked in workplaces where there's a few hot desks, which are great, because most people have their set spots, but if you've got consultants, like I often am these days, or other people coming in, there's a few desks where you can just jump in and work for the day, and that works really well. I have actually also been into an organisation, a really large corporate organisation, where the entire workplace is hot desks. I personally don't like it. I do like to have my own space, somewhere I can leave my stuff and know it's going to be there when I get back and no one's kicked me off. The person who contacted me, the reason they contacted me is because they feel like they're being cast as the negative person, because the organisation is saying this is going to be fantastic, it's going to encourage adaptability and a cohesive workplace and a great team environment. And she's really not so sure about that. And she doesn't want to be coming across as the negative person, but, you know, particularly the hot desk issue is one for her. So if you are watching this and you have worked in a workplace where it's all hot desks, I'd love to hear from you. Same with your tips on surviving in an open planned office. Awesome, folks. A couple of other bits of news before I sign off, and I do hear my children in the background, so hopefully they don't walk in, but anything is possible. So if you guys see that door behind me open, just give me someone type in the side and say, watch out, they're coming in. Couple of bits of news for MethMac Communications. I have a new staff member as of today. Jen has joined the team, and Jen will be watching this video tomorrow. So hello, Jen. Jen is my new virtual assistant, and she's joined the team. She will be working 20 hours a week, which is awesome, and offering me great support. Jen's stepping into the role that some of you might remember Ephriel has been filling for me for the last, it's about 7 months or so now. Ephriel has been amazing, and she has left to go on maternity leave. So I can't wait to hear the news of Ephriel's safe and healthy arrival, hopefully in a couple of weeks from now. I'll post a photo of Jen tomorrow so that everyone can welcome her to the team. I'm also really looking forward to sharing my book cover design and blurb with you in the next couple of weeks. It's a book specifically aimed at leaders on how to communicate effectively under pressure, but really it applies to anyone with some great advice on how to have those difficult conversations. It's all proofread now. It's with the designer and still on track to come out late March. So there you have it. Happy Valentine's Day, folks. Glad my kids didn't gate crash. If you've got a soft skill or communication question, send them through, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Cheers, everyone.